Consoles, PlayStation, Xbox, literally nobody cares typically. But the PlayStation 5 Pro is pretty egregious, honestly.
We're sitting down to talk again about the PlayStation 5 Pro. We talked about this bad boy when it was first revealed, and yeah, I was with a lot of you out there, losing my mind over the price tag, no disk drive, gotta buy that on top of it, plus the stand, and with everything combined based on my setup, and of course the game.
It's supposed to go like this, but it doesn't actually hold itself up like this. You need to buy a stand. Now, you could be a poor loser and buy the default $50 stand, or the PlayStation 5 Pro Plus stand with an engraved PlayStation logo only for $200, or the Plus Plus one for $500. What's the difference between these two? None. But it's more expensive. God damn, PlayStation.
Library behind me, I'd be spending over $800 on a mid-gen refresh. Miss me with that. But now we have our hands on reviews for the PS5 Pro. We get to see news on how Sony is receiving.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the companies that are gonna review the PS5 Pro are gonna be oh so good with their reviews. I'm sure they have no ulterior motive to give it good scores. I'm sure it's the best thing ever.
This PS5 Pro release, is it performing well? And then of course we're seeing scalpers go up in flames, which always makes me very happy as a game collector. So there's much to be said about what's happening with the PS5 Pro situation, and all of it comes back to the middle with how video game discourse is handled nowadays. Really stepping out of the gate of the PS5 Pro reveal, there were two narratives going about it. One was this is overpriced and Sony is getting greedy based on massive failures like
Concord tax, baby, that's right.
And of course the pressure that Sony faces to have their PlayStation business be the primary money.
Didn't buy Concord? Well shit, we're gonna force you to buy Concord in a different form.
Moneymaker versus something like Microsoft, where Xbox can underperform a little bit because they're not the number one moneymaker out of all of the Microsoft entity. Number two, the other narrative was that
is such a blatantly fucking stupid argument. I can't even. Oh, this thing that your company is making can underperform because who cares? It's not your main monies. That opinion is so absolutely wild. I'm this close to actually losing my mind how little financial literacy was said in that sentence, okay? I'm about to absolutely lose it because of how stupid that sentence is and how much it infuriates me.
This is a, quote, enthusiast machine, and it should be treated as such. It's not for the common consumer, which I think flew in the face of what happened with the PS4 Pro, which was, for many people, a very easy purchase. I never really bought into a mid-gen refresh, so I skipped out on the PS4 Pro, but it was fairly priced. You had great hardware there, and it was playing some of the best exclusives on the market at that point in the best way possible. So it was really a win-win-win for PlayStation, especially with the timing of 4K televisions and their pricing. So it worked out well for PlayStation, where yes,
bro, this shit looks pixelated, okay? I can see the polygons on Kratos and his wife's child.
And their pricing. So it worked out well for PlayStation, where yes, this is not only a touchstone for video game discourse and what this information means to support those varying arguments, but it is also a touchstone for where exactly the industry is at. As in, right now, we're seeing diminishing returns on visual upgrades, and the PS5 Pro is very clearly indicative of that, whether it's Sony's own official comparisons or the many reviews I've watched. It just shows that this is something that, yeah, you could say is an enthusiast machine, or you could argue the same thing, which is this is just greed. Like, are you really charging this much for this little of a difference? I think the reality is with the PS5 Pro.
Oh yeah, it's greed. Everyone knows it's greed. Like, that's not even a question at this point.
We'll get into in a second here, is that it's all about how the games of the future perform on this thing, and that's how it's going to justify its cost. But right now, looking at the library that is available on PS5 Pro of upgraded titles, I don't know, man. It doesn't look like that good of an investment, but we'll see how that statement ages. We'll talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into what's going on with gaming, consider subscribing. So starting off at the top, right now, PS5 Pro supports over 50 games.
Oh shit, look at that. Alan Vogue 2. Amazing. Albatross, no idea what that is. Apex Legends. Very cool to get scammed and play that game. Assassin's Creed 15. Wow. Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, that's actually good. Call of Duty 6. If you're playing a shooter game on anything but a PC, people are gonna look down at you, and that is for very, very understandable reasons. EA Sports College Football. I'm pretty sure there's no graphical difference because this game probably looks worse than the first EA football sports college game that they did. Dead Island 2, forgot it exists. Demon Souls, wow, holy shit. Diablo is dead. Dragon Age the Gay God, nice. Dragon's Dogma 2. I doubt that there's improvement. Dying Light 2 Reloaded Edition. EA Sports, it's shit. The list is bad.
With updates, and these are everything from Alan Wake 2 to Baldur's Gate 3 to Diablo 4, Dragon's Dogma 2, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth's in here. Of course, God of War Ragnarok is here. Hogwarts Legacy is. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Resident Evil 4, Stellar Blade, which is also getting new Nier Automata DLC soon, which I can't wait for. The Finals, Warframe, The Last of Us 1 and 2. So a lot of stuff here has been updated where you can go ahead, fire this thing up, and get a lot of usage out of it when it comes to back compat titles. A lot of these games I've already played, but if there was one game I was really interested in seeing how it was doing on the PS5 Pro, it was definitely Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And fortunately, it seems like that one has come out really great, where it
Oh wow, this is actually different.
had a bad performance mode and it had a great quality mode, and now you got something in the middle where you're not really sacrificing the fidelity for performance like you had to originally on the PS5 with
That is a difference.
Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, and that was what I was.
This is the first difference that I see because this is not the first comparison I see. Usually you can't tell the difference.
Hoping for more of when it came to the PS5 Pro was more situations like what you have with Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. But since a lot of games were so well optimized at their original launch, you'd only get a couple of situations like this with, I'd say, something like Dragon's Dogma 2, which performed a lot better on the PS5 Pro. But I was actually watching Skill Up's review, and he showed something with a mode in Horizon Forbidden West where it just completely sunk the FPS in this brand new mode. And this is a trade-off where you get maybe minor improvements on graphical fidelity for the trade-off of 30 frames. And I think the sales pitch for this entire system was simply this: you don't have to really worry about picking one or the other. At least that's how it felt. But the reality is that you still very much have to make that selection. That's where you factor in the future of the PS5 Pro. Okay.
Now, that's where you factor in the fact that they blatantly lied to you and you stop using consoles in general because it's a waste of fucking oxygen, and you join the people that matter, the PC gamers.
It's not really doing much with the back compat titles, but games that are building with the PS5 Pro in mind, what can they squeeze out of this thing? And that's where I think the most of the value in it lies. However, I also wanted to talk about how PlayStation is handling things when it comes to the price point and how they feel things have gone for them, where they say that the PS5 Pro price
overpriced garbage, everything of it,
has not had a negative impact on the sales of console, according to Hiroki Totoki, the Sony president. Speaking as
Hiroki Totoki, there's no way that's a real guy.
Part of Sony's recent financial reporting, Totoki said, spotted by Genki Japan, hardcore users are the target of this hardware. In terms of the pricing, many people made different comments on that, but pricing on PS5 Pro has not had a negative impact, I don't think. This is further supported by information here on Gaming Bolt, where they state PS5 Pro pre-orders were slightly stronger than PS4 Pro. Speaking during Sony's recent quarterly financial briefing, President, CFO, and CEO Hiroki Totoki revealed that the PS5 Pro's pre-orders have actually been slightly stronger than what the PS5 Pro managed prior to its release at the same period. So you hear that and you're probably like, well, what's the problem, Maddie? Like, okay, what we have here is a situation where the PS5 Pro is overperforming compared to the PS4 Pro, and it's shoving it in the face of haters. What's the problem here? Well, then you look at this next bit of news here, where it says the lack of PS5 Pro shortages means some scalpers are reselling at a loss The situation appears to be the same in other countries, including Japan. Otaku Research Institute reports that while the console is now seemingly sold out at most Japanese retailers, some stores were selling it throughout most of the launch day without a need for reservations. On Japanese resale site Mercari, which by the way is phenomenal, sellers are reportedly selling the console for 10,000 to 20,000 yen, more than the retail price, which is $65 to $130 US dollars. But Otaku Research Institute notes that because Mercari takes 10% cut and shipping costs also have to be considered, that this still results in many resellers either breaking even or taking a loss. It also reports that numerous sellers on Mercari are selling for lower than the retail price, stating that they are selling at a discount because multiple items were purchased. And then VGC themselves posted a bunch of UK sellers for the PS5 Pro, putting it at a loss as it currently stands. What this means, in my opinion, is that
what this means, if I want a PS5, I can just buy it in Japan for 100 buckaroos and get it shipped to here, and I'm Gucci? Yo, what the fuck?
two things can be true at once, which is something I've always emphasized on this channel, that it's not always one side or the other. Pick a side, bro, or one narrative or the
I mean, it's either you're gay or you're not. That's the question.
other. It's that multiple things can be true at once. What it seems like we have here is a situation where the PS5 Pro is enjoying nice early sales, at least compared to the PS4 Pro, which was considered a success. At the same time, however, stock is much more readily available where people can go out and buy one if they wish, but it's not selling out to the degree that the original PS5 was, where scalpers are not making a pretty penny on this. And I don't
Okay, no one's fucking making the argument that I wanted to make at the start when I heard about this shit, that it has more pre-orders. Pre-orders don't mean anything, honestly, okay? Nowadays, people pre-order more, and the fact that you have slightly more pre-orders in a time where pre-ordering is very, very, very socially acceptable and the norm is kind of questionable. That was what I wanted to say, but it's not being brought up, that but fucking all. There are so many reasons why slightly higher pre-orders are not exactly a you winning type of situation.
don't know what scalpers actually anticipated, because it's one thing with the PS5 Pro for the 25th anniversary with the PS1 imagery on it and the color scheme on it.
Oh, a fat Japanese man and a fat Western woman. I think I haven't been this disgusted in a long time.
With the PS1 imagery on it and the color scheme on it. That is something
Wait,
you
is
buy
that even a woman? That's probably a man. Yeah, that's probably a man.
on it and the color scheme on it. That is something you buy and resell and try to make a lot of money on, that people would pay a premium for because it's a collector's item. But I'm not sure exactly what scalpers expected by buying this thing and thinking it was going to sell out tremendously.
Oh no, that's an actual woman. Okay, she's just extremely ugly.
Complete lacking of market awareness, because as I said, when this whole thing was first revealed, it is proven to be true, which is that PlayStation has that built-in die-hard ecosystem, kind of like Apple, where once you're in, you're probably not leaving. And I think one good example that will sound very...
No, these built-in ecosystems exist, but people have gotten smart, okay? These built-in ecosystems had a very, very good life expectancy and profitability margin and all of that razzmatazz when the internet didn't exist. When people were locked in because people did not make fun of you for doing a bad purchase, okay? Now people do make fun of you. Like, why are you fucking buying a thing that's 5 times more expensive for literally none of the benefits? Yeah.
very offshoot, but will make sense in a second, is actually Call of Duty. Right now, early numbers are showing that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is up on all platforms on player base. But that
whoa! And as always, it doesn't matter on consoles.
There has been a massive increase year over year on purchases across Steam and PlayStation for Black Ops 6. This is all happening while Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is day one in Game Pass on Xbox's side of thing. And Xbox, by the way, has had for multiple generations now the term attached to their box, which is shooter box. This is not to say that Xbox is a pure failure or that Call of Duty is failing on their platform, but what it does say is despite the price
It is failing. No one cares about COD on Xbox.
Proposition that's been put into place here for something like Call of Duty Black Ops 6 on Game Pass over on the Xbox ecosystem, where sometimes in the case all you need is this right here, a controller, some cloud streaming, and boom, you can just play it for 20 bucks.
Bro has probably a $200 controller just because it has the word Xbox on it. I am physically disgusted.
And sign off. That's great value there. But for people who are in on the PlayStation ecosystem or care about owning their games, they're going to go ahead, buy the product for their own ecosystem, and call it a day. That's not to say that Microsoft is over in the corner weeping about this. That's why they're going multi-plat in a lot of...
Well, the way you explained this, it would make sense that Xbox is in the corner weeping about this, and that they were forced to go multi-platform because they admitted defeat against PlayStation. And then PlayStation was like, I'll be an Xbox. I'm not gonna let a bro self-delete on his own. I'm joining you. I hate life. I hate it so much. Anyway, that was Mr. Matty Plays 10 out of 10. Don't be a console peasant. Have a nice day. Bye.